People, deluded. You people know me. I'm not a scout, I'm not employed, but I'm a wannabe scout and I just wanna be football enthusiast. I love football, live, dream, and breathe it. Essentially, you see the vids work rate, you see my tweets, you see everything. I just live in the world of football. Arsenal need a left back, whether we want to admit it or not. Monreal looks to be given a new deal. Remember, Emery's earlier comments in the season. Kolar, I mean, I'd like to see him convince and be the player, and I don't think he's a bad player, but all his best performances are coming in an attacking sense, and he is a good player, but you've got to be able to defend first, and there's still question marks. So regardless of if one stays or one goes or both stay, sooner or later the club's going to have to admit that we need a fullback. I've been saying this, you've seen the vid. So obviously, as I'm watching football, of course I'm going to entertain the ideas of which left backs could play for the club, and admittedly these are not the most experienced choices I've found and things like that. I've got some more experienced choices, but that's not for this vid. I've spoken about the likes of Mendy before. He might not be the most experienced, but I'd actually advocate looking at Chilwell. He might come with a premium. There's a couple in the French league and Spain and these things like that that are under the radar. But in terms of players I believe that could be looked at, let's start. So firstly, and left and right back people, I must say, because there's a case for someone to compete with Bellerin and raise his tempo. I know Lichtstein is there, but yeah. So I'm going to go with Junior Firpo first of all. He plays for Real Betis. I must admit, I'm not convinced with him defensively. He's not poor defensively, but his strengths seem to be in an attacking sense, and it's easy to see why Madrid were linked with him in regards to a long-term replacement for, what's his face, Marcelo, and why City are linked with him, because Mendy's a good player, a good fullback. I think he's one of the best in Prem, but again, like a lot of these defenders, both centre-half, right-back and left-back, there's still question marks over Mendy a bit defensively going forward. Or if you say Mendy, the first thing you say is his forward attributes. Defensively, he can be a bit shaky. You look at even the game they won against Spurs, he was probably the worst Manchester City player on the pitch. No disrespect, because he's a very good player and I like him. But yeah, similar to Mendy, he has that issue. I think he can improve his work defensively, he can improve his positioning, because he does leave gaps, but it's not poor. I mean, I like what he does going forward. He's got everything we look for in an attacking fullback at Arsenal. He'll join up and link the attacking play. His heading can improve, but he's not the worst in the air. He's got an eye for goal. He hasn't got that many goals. And he is young. I mean, he's a Spanish England, that doesn't make sense. He's a Spanish under-21 international, and he's eligible to play for the Dominican Republic, I believe, if and when the time comes. And he's only 21, 22 years of age, so he's someone I'll be looking at. Yeah, he plays... admittedly, I haven't seen him religiously. I have a good knowledge of him, but I'm not watching him week in, week out. But he plays on Thursday against AC Milan, so I'll record that if it is on TV and get to see him. Next, we've got someone who I would like at the club. He's very inexperienced. Michel Bakker, I hope I've said his name correctly. Left back that plays for Ajax. I've butchered his name, but I know damn well who this player is. For me, he's got everything. I wouldn't say he's slow, but he's not exactly the quickest, but he's got decent pace. Wonderful technical attributes, long and short range passing, crosses, set pieces, whether that be free kicks or corners, he can do it. He's got a good size, so he's decent in the air. He's a very good reader of the game. Like, for what he might lack in pace, if someone says that he's fast up here, and you look at the likes of Scholes and players that were fast up here, that puts you in good stead. He's good in that. Can probably improve when it comes to defending on the turn or defending when he has to turn around, if that makes sense. But the prospects are there, man. He looks to be the next. I'm not going to say the next up, but one of them that's going to get a chance sooner or later for Ajax. So he's someone I'll be looking at. In regards to another left-back, I've already told you about Nicolas Kozal of Montpellier. I've seen him play for France's under-19s. He can actually be changed into a centre-half. He can play centre-half. Felt he put in a convincing performance against Marseille at the weekend, playing against Florent Thauvin. I can't say his name. Again, I don't even know if Florent's his first name, but Thauvin. Yeah, he's been, the last 2 seasons, he's been in relative good form. I mean, he's a World Cup winner as well. So to have him in your back pocket, admittedly, he didn't have the best of games on the flanks. But if you've got him in your back pocket, you've done all right to a degree, I would say. So, yeah, he also played against his international teammate in Camara of Marseille as well. So he's someone I'll be looking at as well, to be fair. The two names I've just said are the ones that really do it for me. Can't say his name, but 20-year-old... Mazzori, I can't say that name, the fullback that plays for Ajax. Ajax have got a lot of good fullbacks, man. I like what he does going forward. Like, you saw his goal against Munich in the clips and the images I've seen of him and the videos I've seen. He likes to go forward. He can improve defensively, but I like him as a fullback, innit? Like, I really like him. He's 20 years of age. He's probably got a lot of things he can improve on. If I watched him a bit more under the eye, a bit more scrutiny sort of thing. But yeah, and finally, he's not really. I've really gotten him in mind to this, but I've seen him play, and I feel it's a good time to plug him. He's kind of irrelevant to this, but Serginho Diaz. When I saw him, I thought to God this guy was. I swear to God, people, I thought this guy was a right winger. It was Ajax versus Bayern Munich at under-19s level. The first time I've seen this lad, he was moving like a Brazilian. When I saw that he was playing right back or wing back, I was astonished. I was like, where has this guy been? Why have I not seen him? And he is sick. I like him. Very raw, like I said, but going forward, there's not much he can't do. Be a good asset. He's a decent crosser, probably better than Bellerin, and he's all right. And I think he's of American descent or plays his international football for America, so they probably have a good man in him there. Obviously, I would like Mendy of Lyon. I do think Mendy can improve defensively as well, because I can't have the game to hand. But when I was watching him a bit more under scrutiny last season, there was balls over his head that he was failing to deal with, clearances that could have been cleared first time that he wasn't dealing with. But going forward, Mendy's an asset. There's a couple other left backs, like I've said, but I thought these are the ones. Let me plug the ones I might not have spoken about previously, or the lesser known sort of ones. So yeah, people, I got nothing more to say on that. Guys, as you know, deluded. Comment, subscribe, and do the rest if you wish. People, deluded, I'm back again. You guys know I believe we need a couple of positions, and the one that I've been highlighting for the last couple of months has been a left back. In fact, last couple of months, if you check, since I've more or less started this YouTube stuff, I've mentioned we need a left back. We know Kola is. I don't want to say he's untested in the sense that we don't know what we're getting from him. It seems a bit where you kind of don't know what you're getting from him, because from what I've seen of Cola's time at Arsenal, he's been a good centre half. He's been a good left back when presented with the opportunity. His strengths are going forward. Defensively, he's very shaky and very suspect. He's a very good contributor going forward in a sense. So we don't know what we're going to get if he can develop into a regular first choice fullback, or just stay at the club and be an option. Monreal, I don't feel Monreal's perfect, and I actually feel when Monreal makes mistakes, it's not spoken of. If you look at Cardiff, and there's been a couple, I'm so sure Fulham as well, there's been occasions this year where he's been at fault for goals. But 9 times out of 10, Monreal is one of the most consistent players at our club. He's one of the most consistent performers, and deservedly so. He's one of the first names on the team sheet, assuming. But we know we're playing a dangerous game. There's talks of him being given a new contract. But we know with every injury that he could possibly get, or every game, it's a test on his legs. There was a week we played 3 games in a week. I'm so sure he played 2 of them, but it's a test on his legs. You're seeing with the hamstring injuries currently got, it takes you longer to come back and things like that. I believe we need a left back, and I'm here to speak about Aaron Martin. I hope I said his name correctly. Formerly of Espanyol and now Mainz in Germany. And my guy Raphaël Guerreiro. So we'll start off with Martin. Now Martin, he was looked at by the big clubs. City were heavily linked with him. We were linked with him. Fulham's not a big club, but they were linked with him. Everyone in England more or less was linked with him. Napoli in Italy as well. And for whatever reason, people didn't go for him. Whether these clubs concluded scouts have run the rule over him and say that he's not ready to step up, or he's not as good as being spoken about, or they just left it and were going after every other target they possibly had. They've left him for whatever reason, and their loss or our loss or everybody's loss has been to Mainz's advantage, because he started off in good form. They've made his move permanent, 5-6 million I believe, and he's doing his thing. They paid 5-6 million for him. If it was Arsenal or any other top club, we would have probably had to pay more, and I believe that we were quoted, or clubs were quoted 15 million, which isn't too bad. Ironically, that's a similar fee, or just over that, is what I will go with Mainz and tempt them for. I mean, Arsenal's not winning titles, but pardon me, people, the lure of the Premier League, to play under a Spanish manager in Unai Emery, Arsenal and Mainz are not on the same scale in terms of global presence. It'll be an opportunity. They could make a profit on him as well. He's a good crosser. He likes to get forward. I think he's a steady Eddie. He could improve on his marking, and at times he needs to improve on when to stay wide, when to stay narrow, but he's only 21, and the signs are there that he could develop into a steady Eddie fullback, and he's going to be slightly more of a household name than he currently is. Next, Guerreiro. I wanted him from his Lorient days. I've got a lot of time for him. Defensively, he's a bit suspect. I actually feel he hasn't really developed as a player through no fault of his own. He's had a lot of injuries. If I remember the World Cup, I can't remember the game Portugal played, but there was a massive error he made as well. Not that it was a short back pass, it's just his marking off the ball and things like that. He struggles, and his strengths are clearly going forward. But he's a fullback I like a lot. I think there's some unrealised potential of sorts within his game. He's contracted until 2020, so next year officially, he's just got 18 months or so left. Next summer he'll have a year left on his contract. Potentially that's something to take advantage of. He's 24. He could earn better wages at Arsenal. The law of the Premier League. He's only made 59 appearances for Dortmund because of injuries and things like that. So that would be my only concern, and we'll get onto that. But he will be an asset going forward if we can improve him defensively. There could be a little deal there to be done because of his contract's up in 2020, because of his injury record. We obviously have done business with Dortmund historically and before. Recently, we've obviously signed Aubameyang. Socrates has come to the club, so maybe we could use these links to our advantage. Obviously, Mislintat is a former Dortmund man, so these give us more aces in our pack or whatever the card thing is to negotiate them with them. He's got 11 goals and 11 assists. I mean, from fullback, that would be decent. He would also provide depth in central midfield. I'm not buying him to play central midfield. He will never play in central midfield for my team, but it'll be depth to know there's some sort of depth there in the side, to know if anything happens, he can play there. My only concerns he's got an eye for goal. He can be played in further forward positions than just fullback, but he's clearly got an eye for goal. If you just look at his stats for Dortmund, 11 goals, 11 assists. Lorient, 10 goals, 8 assists. Can't believe he didn't come to it. I don't know how we didn't sign him, even when he was at Cannes as well, or whatever the club before that was. Not Lyon. I've already said that. In terms of appearances made in Liga, 10 goals, 8 assists. So all of them have come in the top league. He's got 7 and 7 in the Bundesliga. And yeah, man, he's 28. Got 28 Portugal caps. He's someone I would actually try and making it a bid for or whatever. This season, he's been unlucky with injuries this season. He's only made nine appearances, and 2 goals and 1 assist. But if you look at the minutes, he's only played 198 minutes in the league and 58 in the Champions League. He came off the bench and probably should have scored against Atletico the other day, but it's through no fault of his own. He's played 90 minutes twice this season alone. I'm saying twice to be nice because he's played 80 minutes against Hertha Berlin and he's played 90 minutes against Wolfsburg. But excluding that, against Augsburg, 21 minutes, started the season third, and he got 3 and 4 minutes, so he's been on the bench. Dortmund have been in good form. You're seeing with Royce playing in some sort of 10. Sancho's got into the side. Witzel's been decent for them. I think Akanji and Diallo and etc. can improve, but they've been all right. Their coach has got them playing all right, and I don't want to say mount anything serious in the Bundesliga, because while I watch the occasional Dortmund game and watch them on most weekends, I'm not as clued up, but they're in good form. So yeah, maybe because of warming the bench, whether it's through injury problems or not being trusted, we could use this to our advantage. The only concern for him is his injury record. Looking at his injury records, people, there's 2 pages on this. Outside. Alright, that's not really relevant. He had hamstring and some next problem at Lorient. But since he's been at Dortmund, bro, since 14-15, he's had a hamstring injury where he missed 21 days, a hip injury for the same amount of times. He's had a torn muscle fiber, which resulted in missing 17 days. Another injury, missed 25 days. An ankle injury, 18 days. He had ankle surgery in 17-18 where he missed 94 days. I remember that. He had a torn muscle fiber where he missed 21 days in the same year. These are all the same year and totally different. Muscular problems, he missed 35 days. Another torn muscle fiber where he missed 39. Hamstring, 24. Muscular issues this year resulted in him missing 7 days. In fact, he's had a hamstring injury this year as well, and a torn muscle. Well, no, they're the only 2. So he's had a rough time with injuries. I mean, let's just look at the last 2 seasons, including this one. Obviously, I've just told you about 17-18. But looking at, 18-19, the 17-18 season, he made 15 appearances, 2 goals. Ankle injuries, torn muscle fibers, muscular issues. So he's had a madness. So he was only available for 1. He was on the bench for that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Might as well call it 10 games for the season in the league. Champions League, he played 3 times. Europa, he played 28 minutes. and then he made 2 appearances in the DFB Pokal Cup. So yeah, if we look at, let's look at 16, 17. So maybe I don't want to say he's been a failure at Dortmund, but maybe it's not worked out the way he wants, and maybe a fresh start would be good. Fair enough, last season in all comps he made 35 appearances, but again, torn muscle fibre, muscular injuries, it becomes a constant theme. I mean, they were earlier in the season and he was able to regroup and go hard, but you get the point at this moment. And just for the sake of it, we'll look at 15, 16, where I don't feel he, off the top of my head, suffered too many issues in terms of that. This could be straight up. Yeah, perfectionist. But, yeah, so last year, 15, 16, sorry, he made 41 appearances, 34 in Liga. That's a far cry from anything he's been available for, really, for Dortmund, despite the fact he made 35 in all comps, which I just mentioned last year. He made 41 appearances in this year, 34 in the league. So this was his only real fit season. But I think he'd provide some adaptability. If we were to play 3 at the back, he'd be a good wing back. If he was on the bench, we wanted to shut out games. It's another fullback to solidify that side of the pitch. That's me being tactical. Away from that, I think he's a good left back. I think there's still some potential in there, and I do think he could be available for a decent piece, a decent change. Like I said, he's contracted until 2020. I think I've spoken about a lot of fullbacks, and there's a lot I would take, but for me, if I had the money, he's the first I would try and sit down or fax or reach out to Dortmund and say, listen, yo, what's the possibility of this happening? Because I do believe Hakimi, excluding this year, has another year loan at that club. He played quite well for me at fullback, left-sided fullback for Dortmund. So maybe he's the first choice in that regards. I'm not too sure. If that was to continue, maybe Raphaël has to move clubs or something. So yeah, he's someone I would go for, man. I really like the Portuguese international, but anyways, people, and I would actually go for Vintage of Wolves. I don't think he's played for Wolves, but based on how he played at the under-19s championship last summer, I believe, forgive me if I'm wrong, he impressed me. But yeah, I've got nothing more to say, people. I'm only doing this video again because I actually did it before, and because technology is technology, I cannot find it. But it is what it is, man. Plenty of times this happens, but we go again. People, it's been a pleasure. Deluded. I'm out. Please tell me your opinions. Would you take him? Would you not? What left backs would you look at? Subscribe to the thing. Follow me on my socials. Deluded Gooner 04 and everything. Facebook Deluded Gooner. Snapchat DGooner 04. Thank you. God bless. I'm out, people. Stay blessed and stay safe.